The SA Tomorrow transportation plan we are here to discuss is about much more than roads and cars. Multimodal means that focus is given to whichever modes of transportation are needed or wanted on a particular roadway. The multimodal transportation plan will incorporate pedestrians, bicyclists, transit riders, and automobile drivers and passengers in the safest and efficient way possible. It will also focus on transportation choices and connections so users can transfer between modes. This brief presentation provides an overview of what you have told us to this point in the planning process. It talks about what we've learned in looking at the transportation system. Most importantly, it will give you a sense of where we're headed with this process and what it means for San Antonio. We appreciate you spending time with us, and we look forward to your participation in the many input activities.
So here is what we've heard. We spent the first half of this year getting to know your dreams for the city's future. We reviewed the vision set forth by SA 2020, as well as numerous other plans and studies, and supplemented these with your input from over 75 community events we attended since our April 2015 kickoff event. We evaluated our findings to mold a new vision based on SA 2020 that takes San Antonio's transportation network through the next 25 years. You want transportation choices, improve connectivity and reduce congestion, along with system-wide safety and reliability.
You told us that you want more and better transportation choices. In addition to having opportunities to drive, you'd also like the system to offer you safe, convenient, and comfortable opportunities for walking, bicycling, and taking transit. In some places in the city, the right-of-way that we have is already consumed by the existing roadways. In others, there are opportunities for us to make investments that will expand your opportunities to walk, bike, or take transit. Some of our busiest roads are already congested. Meanwhile, San Antonio will continue to grow. In the next 25 years, we'll welcome more than 1 million people into Bexar County. You told us that congestion is a concern and needs to be addressed. You also suggested that making better connections within the existing street system is important and would help make travel easier and more convenient. Knowing how long a trip will take, having comfort as you travel, getting where you're going on time, and doing so safely were all things that you said were important. Being able to make alternate route and travel mode choices as you plan your trip or adapt to things that arise while you are traveling, road closures, crashes, or worse than expected rush hour traffic, are things you suggested are important to plan for in San Antonio. According to the CDC, the San Antonio metropolitan area's annual fatal crash rate was 13.4 per 100,000 persons, about 20% above the national average. Comparatively, Houston's rate was 12.6 and Austin's was 10.3. Getting there safely, no matter how you choose to travel, is something you told us that you felt strongly about. Incidents directly impact those involved and indirectly impact the travel times of all those traveling along the same route. As we look out toward the future of San Antonio's transportation system, we need to plan to do the things that reduce the frequency of incidents, the severity of injuries, and the potential for them to occur.
So here's what we know. Our population will nearly double. Our travel time will nearly double. And unfortunately, the transportation system does not pay for itself.
We're going to grow, and our population will nearly double from today. By 2040, Bexar County's population is forecast to increase to 2.8 million people, an addition of more than 1 million new residents from today. That's a lot more cars and people on our already busy streets and buses. Driving times on our busiest streets and highways could double during rush hours unless we make changes to San Antonio's transportation system. That's according to the Alamo Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is the group responsible for regional transportation planning here in San Antonio. Trips taking 15 to 20 minutes today could become 30 to 40-minute trips in the future if we don't plan for our growth now. We are fortunate among large cities in America. Over time, we have consistently secured funds from many sources to support investments in our transportation system. Here's the challenge. We're going to need to keep doing what we've done and get proportionally more each year. We will need to evaluate how we currently fund our infrastructure. Should we enhance our current system or develop a new approach?
Given what we've heard and the key facts we know, what are our challenges to get there? We have limited funding, we have constrained space, and we have outdated tools.
Over time, San Antonio has been able to consistently secure funds from many sources to support our investments in our transportation system. Here's the challenge. We're going to need to increase what we've historically secured if we're going to meet our future needs. Assuming that we continue to allocate the same amount of funding and build new roads at our current pace, it would take about 30 years to build out our transportation network, and this does not include the cost to maintain our existing roadways. This is much longer than would be needed to maintain our current levels of congestion. It may be hard in many locations to secure more space to expand or build new roads, sidewalks, bikeways, and transit lines. Many of our developed areas have buildings near the edge of the street or sidewalk. As we look at how to accommodate the growth and travel along many corridors, we're going to have to weigh trade-offs and make choices that best fit people and places and our travel needs. The current Major Thoroughfare Plan, which is the long-range plan for our roadway network that tells policymakers where and how big roadways should be, was adopted in 1978. It was a good plan. However, times have changed and so has San Antonio. We need to develop a new transportation approach for San Antonio that meets today's and tomorrow's needs and offers us the flexibility we'll need to adapt to things that we can't plan specifically for now.
What are some of the myths regarding transportation? One is that all roads in San Antonio have already been built. People love their cars, things won't change, and we can build our way out of congestion.
We heard from many people that think San Antonio's road network is built out. That's just not the case everywhere. We have a lot of growing to do. The blue lines on the map show streets and highways we're widening as planned, and the dashed red lines are planned new streets. The common myth is that people will drive at the same or at an ever-increasing rate each year. When you combine that with growth, the result is a huge increase in traffic. The good news is that data from many sources in many locations firmly busts this myth. According to the data collected by the Federal Highway Administration, a group under the U.S. Department of Transportation, the number of miles a person drives has leveled out and decreased in many cases. Basically, on average, we're driving less each year. By all means, the personal automobile remains a primary source of transportation for most Americans. Meanwhile, the data shows that we're making fewer and/or shorter trips in our cars when we choose to drive. Building more and wider roads isn't the solution to erasing congestion in the long term. Providing more car capacity in our transportation system is important, but it needs to be complemented with investments that increase walking, bicycling, and transit use, combined with land use decisions that allow for shorter and better connected trips. Experience has showed us that when we invest in more car capacity in a transportation system, we simply use up the new car capacity we've created. There is a nearly continual discussion on why this occurs, but experts generally agree that this is what happens. People who have avoided the congestion on the route come back. People who had chosen to travel at another time return to their preferred time, and people who had chosen to travel by another mode return to driving.
Okay, so how do we try and solve this? We have 3 areas we plan to explore: modifying our approach to project prioritization, to revamp our master plan, and refining our policies and see how they fit together.
Why can't we just build it all and now? At the simplest level, money. We're going to have to continue to make good choices in how we spend our limited transportation funds by smartly prioritizing projects to address our most pressing needs first, and then by pursuing all the other projects that are also important for making our transportation system the best that it can be for our city. If you haven't already, we hope you'll take a few moments and share your input with us on what qualities are most important in selecting priority projects. In 1978, we had a good plan that helped guide our investments as we grew. It's time for a new plan to help guide the city for the next quarter century and beyond. Our new plan will need to go further than in the past and provide us with additional guidance on how to handle transportation decision-making in our ever-changing city. We hope you'll take a few minutes and share your input with us on how we should approach making trade-offs for bicycles, pedestrians, transit, and car and trucks on our major streets. We need to complement the new plan we're building together with more sophisticated and up-to-date decision-supported tools, specifically updated policies that will help support arriving at good decisions for our transportation system and the city as we develop strategies to promote safety, manage congestion, preserve the existing system, ensure system reliability, and maintain our city's quality of life. Like we asked a moment or two ago, we'd value your input and interest in, or disinterest in, different approaches we can take to address different transportation-related themes for the city.
Thank you for your willingness to participate in SA Tomorrow. When you have time, please check out the transportation website at www.satomorrow.com. This site will help you stay up to date with not only the transportation plan process, but also the comprehensive plan and the sustainability plan as well.